Good morning. Happy Saturday. Good afternoon. Good evening. I think I'm live. Where are you guys? No, I know it's a little bit delayed. Hello, hello. Hello. Okay, wait, I gotta get my glasses on so I can see who's coming on. Hey, Leslie. Hello. Okay, let's see if I can pronounce her name. Lalemi. Lalemi. I hope that's right. It's such a beautiful name. Hi, Kathy and Sandy and Molly. You guys, I'm so excited. Hey, Kate. I'm so excited about today. I got so much. It's a cold. Oh, I just got a little notice from my Wi-Fi, so you guys have to just fingers crossed, stay put. Hello, hello, Sharon. You know, oh, is that Sherelle? Hello. So, you guys, yesterday I did a Facebook, did an Instagram live, and I had no problems with my internet. So, we're gonna fingers crossed. Okay, so if I like break, if I see that it's going across, that there's a problem, I will stop talking. So you won't miss anything. You just gotta hang in there. Hello, Cheryl. I know, it's such a little choppy. Hey, Sandra. Okay, so I'll give it a second, and I have flowers to show you. I have questions to answer. I have demos to do. So hopefully you guys will just hang out with me, and then I think I have to pick up a kid in about an hour, a little sleepover. It was Hudson's birthday yesterday, my 17-year-old. So we went to 2 basketball games yesterday, and it was so much fun. And our Aptos team played their biggest rival, Santa Cruz High, and they beat both JV and varsity won. Yay! So anyway, all right, you guys, I'm excited. Noreen, hello, and Beverly. Okay, good. Wow, you guys, what a big turnout today. So fun. Okay. So first I just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, but I do want to say, I want to talk about the difference between the Instagram lives and the Facebook lives, because I know some of you guys are on both, which is awesome. Some of you guys are not on Instagram, so I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on anything. I only do it because I know that there's just people who are not on everything. That's the only reason. So what I like to do on Instagram is, I'm trying to do this on Fridays. So Fridays is my day on Instagram. And I want to be really consistent so that you guys don't have to wonder if I'm on or not. So I'm going to try and do that weekly, the way I do Facebook Lives weekly, which is every Saturday at 10 o'clock Pacific time, right now. So anyway, the idea I have with the Instagram Lives would be to demo and work on what I'm currently working on in my studio. So it's really just kind of like a peek into what I'm working on, less about questions and answers, really more about demos and just kind of getting into what I'm working on and whatever that is at the time. And just kind of like having fun. And usually they're about 30 minutes. I don't like to go too long on Instagram. One, I think the internet will go down, but 2, I just want to keep that in that direction. And then for you guys, it's a private group. So I really want to be a little bit more personal in this group, do some more story sharing with you guys about, you know, anything you want to know. Just lost it for a second. Hey, Susanna, it's my sister's on. So then, So the lives in Facebook are, you know, I'm going to share my flowers with you. I'm going to do Q&As with you. I'm also going to do demos, but you're also in this group going to be the first to know like what's happening. So I want you guys to feel special. But if you go to both, there could be a tiny bit of a crossover, and that's okay too. So for today's demo, I'm going to be continuing to work on the canvases that I have been sharing with you guys and also with Instagram. So I'm just going to continue to work on those with you. So that's later. But to start us off, so this morning I went into the garden. Look at this, you guys. Ooh, I got a little Willow Crossley inspiration. If you guys have not heard me talk about Willow Crossley, and I think I'm saying her last name right, she's from England and she does like weekly videos on how she just throws together these bouquets, and they are amazing. And I found her on Instagram. You can probably just Google her. She's incredible. And so she does a lot of things with frogs, like the little thingy, you know, the thing that you put flowers on. So a froggy is in here. And I found this awesome vase at Marshall's, which is like a home goods for us here. And I just went around this morning and I picked these. So I wanted to share some of these with you guys because they're so sweet. Okay, so I have this weed, which actually, oh, that's so funny. You know, weeds are a really funny thing. You can pick them and in about 5 minutes, they just close up. So maybe they just don't want to be picked. Have you guys ever noticed that with weeds, like those little yellow flowers? Like I'll pick some stuff and then I don't know what's up with this, but this is a primrose that was so beautiful about 20 minutes ago. Primrose, it's not a primrose. I don't know what this is, but it's all over the place. And they're nice, big, long stems that I can just cut in here. Okay, this is from a huge dahlia tree. It's called a dahlia tree. It does not look like a dahlia, but aren't they so pretty? They're these like little yellow daisies thingies with really cool kind of thingies, leaves. I don't think those are leaves. I don't know what those are. Okay, this is something that I don't remember the name of, but it begins with H. I think it's like Hella something. And I've got a couple of these branches in here. So the leaves are really cool to draw, you know, they're just, and it's like sturdy. And I don't know if you can tell, they're really beautiful. And then they'll last a while and then they turn to like these little fuzz balls. So I got a couple of those in here. I've got some lavender that's blooming. So look at these long stems. So I just went and grabbed some long stems. The thing about Willow that I love is that she cuts her flowers in her garden really long and she uses super long stems. And I started doing that and it just lets the flowers flow a little bit more instead of just cutting it and just sticking it right in my jar. So I've been really learning from her a lot. I still have a ways to go, especially with the weeds. Then, this one didn't work, but this is a sweet pea vine. Okay, so these aren't your traditional sweet peas. This is a vine that's growing along the side of my art studio fence. And it doesn't smell, but it's really beautiful. And I just planted last Sunday 17 sweet pea plants. Fingers crossed. I cannot wait to show you guys those when they bloom. I didn't realize that every year I'm a little late on planting them. And so where I am in zone 9, you plant them right now. So I went and bought them and I have a little animal that's eating them. So I have to kind of work on that this weekend. Some salvia and, oops, this guy needs to go back in here. So I thought that was really fun and like kind of loose and flowy. And I'll just put that in the kitchen. But her name is Willow Crossley. She's awesome. I'll try to link to her. So those are my flowers. And okay, I am so excited to share this story with you that I actually have to sit down, I think. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just go back. What are the dimensions of my art studio? I think it's 16 feet by 20 feet. I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna move this back for a second. And I also think I figured out how to do the right reading. So when I do my demo, we'll be right reading. But when I show you the story of this painting, it is a little bit switched. Okay, so if you guys heard me talk about one of my favorite paintings, the Bird of Humanity, I'm just gonna hold it up for a second. I'm on my tiptoes. This is, oh my gosh, I can't even remember how wide it is. I think this is like 4 feet wide. Hold on, I'm just gonna smush this down like that so you can see me. Okay, this is about 4 feet wide, and it is a gallery wrap. Okay, this is a print of the bird of humanity. And I also have the scarves, which I know a bunch of you guys bought this holiday, and I'm going to be restocking those and have those all year long because I love it. But I want to tell you the story about this bird of humanity painting. And some of you guys might know the story, but it's a great story to share. So the bird of humanity painting idea came to me because I happened to be listening to a podcast with Oprah Winfrey and Lynn Twist, who I had never heard of Lynn Twist before. And Lynn Twist is like, she's an entrepreneur, she's a spiritual person, she's an activist, and her background story is so cool. And I loved the way she was speaking, and she was talking about money and just really abundance, but she then kind of broke out and started talking about this prophecy she heard. And it was right around the time of the Me Too movement. So I would say this is a couple years ago. Let's say maybe my time is so off because of COVID, but I think it was like around 3 years ago when, you know, women were starting to really speak up and really trying to get their voices heard. Women in business were trying to break glass ceilings, you know, all of that stuff. So she was talking, and I'm in the car driving, and she was talking about this bird of humanity prophecy. And what she said is that for centuries, the bird has a male wing and a female wing, and that the male wing has been going crazy, just flopping, flopping, flopping. It's super violent, and maybe not super violent, but violent. It's muscular, and it has to go in circles like this because the female wing is not extended. It's shy. It's not talking. It's not the bright and beautiful wing it could be. It's sort of like not doing much. So the male wing has to do all this extra work and go round and round in circles and cause all of this chaos. And so the prophecy says that in the 21st century, which is now, and she names this the Sophia century, that in the 21st century, that the female wing will start to extend, the voice will start to be heard, and that eventually the female wing will start to flap, the male wing will start to calm down because it doesn't have to fly so hard, and eventually that they will balance and soar. Okay, so I swear to you guys, I pulled over on the side of the road, total tears, and I drew out a little picture. It's like, it's hard to describe. It doesn't happen all the time at all. But when an image comes to my head, which is like the story of when my mother-in-law passed away, but when an image comes to my head, I need to write it down or sketch it out, even if it's on the back of a napkin, just something, just to kind of have the image before it disappears. Because I really believe that some of the best ideas are going to float away unless you sort of grab onto them. That doesn't mean you need to work on the idea. It just means that you need to kind of grasp it and get it down on a piece of paper or somehow write in your notes or something. So I started painting this painting, the bird of humanity, this big. Okay, so this was the size of the original. And you guys, like painting this painting was so amazing for me. There was so much going on in the world. I put everything into it. I loved it. I loved it. There's videos of me actually painting it. Loved it. Like crazy loved it. So fast forward, I had open studios at my studio that October, I believe. And this painting was hanging above my sliding door in my art studio, right over there. And I had everything for sale except that painting because it was like that pink elephant. I was like, oh my God, it's my favorite painting and I don't want to get rid of it. So anyway, my sister and I had recently met this woman who, and her goddaughter who, this woman, unfortunately, she had a terrible stroke and was paralyzed from her chest down. And we met her at a book show, and we loved her. Her name was Linda, and she was like the most vibrant, full of life, smiling, gorgeous. I would say she was probably almost 80, but like you just walk into a room and you just want to be near her because she had this like light coming right out of her. Like, it's hard to describe Linda. She's just such a beautiful person. And we really connected, and we connected with Erin, her goddaughter, and I'm still really good friends with Erin. She's so awesome. And so Erin and Linda came to my art studio. And she's in a wheelchair, like not even a wheelchair, like a really big fancy one because she needs all the motor work. And so she comes into my art studio and Mark kind of like cleared away. We wanted to make sure she could come in and out. And so she's in her chair and she's looking around and she's like, I want that one. And she points to the Bird of Humanity. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not for sale. So my husband walks in and it's like, oh yeah, it is. Everything's for sale. And I was like, yeah, sure, you know what? It's fine. Everything is for sale. And I remembered the story of the pink elephant. Like everything is for sale. It's all good. It's fine. If you love it that much, if you walk around my whole art studio and that's the one you want, then you can have that one. So fast forward, she buys the painting. I go down to her beautiful home in Carmel. I hang it up for her. I love it. I made a print of it so that I have the print, and I have this print hanging right above my art studio. So like I was talking about last week, you can still have your beautiful art if you sell it. You just can make a print of it. You know, it may not be the original, but it's there. And so anyway, she has had that hanging. I created the scarves. I love this painting so much. Unfortunately, she passed away maybe about 2 months ago, I think. And Erin, so lucky, and I'm so happy, she inherited the painting. Okay, so the painting is now living in Erin's home, and Erin is just as beautiful as Linda, and I'm so happy it's there. So this painting has like all this story behind it. And I don't know what it was, but last week I was thinking about this painting a lot. And so I'm so excited to tell you guys about this because nobody knows this yet, all right? So I spent all of last week creating a class, okay? So I'm gonna flip this down so you can see it because this is backwards because this has the fonts. But I was so excited, and I was telling Renee, it like all came out of me. Like I spent 3 full days filming and everything worked. Like in fact, in the lessons, I laugh about it. Like, okay, I could really screw this up, but it all worked. And so I wanted to create a piece that would fit in the camera so I can teach it, but also so that everybody could have their own Bird of Humanity and it doesn't have to be 4 feet long. And the Bird of Humanity could be any horizontal size that you want, because I'm going to teach you literally step by step in this class, and it's only about this painting. And you could take the size and you could go to the store and you could get any size you want and do the exact same thing. So I am just like a little crazy kid in a candy shop because this whole entire story means so much to me. So in the class, I'm going to talk about the story even more and have photos and all of that great stuff. But I was talking to Renee, so Renee Mueller, who's one of my dearest friends, she knows about the class because I just couldn't even control myself. And I said, look, I want to create a class, but I don't want to create this whole gigantic course. I just disconnected, hold on. So she's like, why don't you call it a painting lesson? And so similar to a lot of decorative artists, when they do their lessons, this is just the lesson. So it's going to be literally step by step by step, the whole entire lesson. And that's the lesson. And it's awesome. So anyway, I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm going to flip our camera around. And, oh, Jill, I might have one long one, okay? So I will DM you later because I might have one long Bird of Humanity scarf left before my next order comes in. All right, So I'm so excited. This is another reason why I love this community, because I'm going to share these things with you guys first. Nobody else knows about it. Oh, and just so you know, I'm planning to open it up for early registration on Friday, fingers crossed, Friday, and it's going to be $35, so it's going to be cheaper than when it launches. It's going to go $35, $45. Very similar to Whimsical Elephant, which is a one class, and Colorful Joy, which is a one class. And so that's going to, I'm going to let you guys know. You'll be the first to know. So the sign up, and then I'll let you know the day that the class goes live. So, okay, just, you know, you guys, I'm telling you, I was crazy last week. I think it was like my after COVID energy boost. All right. Oh, okay, I'm gonna flip this around and do a demo. Okay, so hold on. Let's see. All right. Ta-da-da. There's my beautiful view. I'm so excited. I am going to answer. See, that's where I do all my filming right there. You see my tripod thing? I film right there. I am going to also answer questions that came up. Okay, we're right reading. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Linda's asking, okay, hold on. I'm going to tell you both of those answers. 1 second. I'm trying to get my tripod to this guy to sit. I need to go put a little thing on it. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I need a sandbag for my tripod. So technical. Whoopsie. Hopefully that didn't. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. We are going to have some fun. Okay, so the size of that canvas, you guys, I'm going to show you guys this first, because now this is right reading. So in this class, and next week I'm going to talk about this some more too. So we'll show you guys some more. So this canvas, I got 2 on Amazon, and it is 24 inches by 8 inches. Okay, so it's 24 by 8. And this is done. So one of the things in the class that I teach is how to get writing on it. We go layer by layer. It's got stencils and paint pens and acrylics, and it's so much fun. So lots of layers. So that is 24 by 8. And I found it on Amazon. They also sell all the different types of canvases at any art store. You guys can do even a couple. Rebecca's asking, how do I take photos for the prints on the deep sides? Okay, so when you do a gallery wrap, and I'm going to be doing a class on this. Do you see this right here? This, when I get these prints made, they print it and then they mirror this image so that it looks like it's a continuous painting, but it's a mirrored image of the print. So I get these hand done. Each one is hand stretched for me, and they do a fabulous job. So if you ever get gallery wraps done, wherever you are, you want to make sure you get them to do your sides really beautifully. So I'm going to be doing a whole course on class on reproductions, and that part of it will be in it. But I think it's really important to get your sides done the right way. All right, I'm going to show you guys what I've been doing. I'm going to do a little demo on some of this with some paint today, and then I'm going to talk about pricing your art and fixatives. So I've got those 2 questions. I'm just going to make sure I get over here, just so I can see if anything happens. I'm gonna just make sure my computer's, yeah, okay. Alrighty, Where do I get them done? I get mine done in Carmel, but you can get them done online. There's lots of different places. You can also find them from your local printer. I believe I Print From Home does them. They do a great job. iprintfromhome.com. Okay, so I was working on this yesterday in the Instagram Live. And hold on a second, I gotta get my palette paper stuck. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So I was working on this one yesterday. I'm gonna, shaking it. And I don't like some parts of it, and some parts I do like. And I'm not going to go through like the whole entire process of this today, but if you wanted to see any of the layering videos of this, they're all in like the last 6 posts of my Instagram feed. You can kind of see the buildup. And I showed some of them last week too. And I was working on this yesterday. There's a couple areas I don't like. So I kind of wanted to talk about when you don't like something. And when I work, I do about an hour to an hour and a half session, and then I put it away. Stop, go take a walk, go get something to eat, just get up and move away. But when I was working, I realized I don't like this. It looks like an olive. Do you see how like this light blue is around this darker circle? I don't really like that. So I want to work on covering that up today. So what I do is when I work on a painting, when I go back into the session, I always look about what I don't like and fix that first before I go on to keep working. It's just something about the way I work. I don't know. It's just my thing. If it bugs me, I want to fix it. I don't want to be looking at it. So I wanted to show you how I was thinking about this morning and fix it. And then I want to do some paint pen work on a couple other pieces I have. So what I like to do is do a little tone on tone. So what I don't like is I don't like how sharp this edge is, okay? And I want to sort of fill that in a little bit. I was thinking I was going to go and put some like pink in it, but I don't think that's the answer either. I think I want to keep it neutral. So I'm literally going to, and these are the Nova colors. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about them so much, but I am not even mixing right now. I'm going to go in and get rid of the olive shape, okay? And the way I was showing yesterday too is sometimes when I layer another color on top, I'll do it lightly. So do you see how you can still see a little bit of that shape? That's okay. That doesn't bug me. I think what bugged me the most, and sometimes I have a hard time articulating what bugs me, but I think what bugged me the most was that it was kind of bright and it was very contrasty and light. So I'm going to go in and add really loose, almost... Oh, my watch is thinking I'm on a workout, which is hysterical. So that might be because I was so excited about that class. But anyway. Okay. I'm just going to add a little bit more. So then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to think, okay, I still don't think I like that sharp edge. So I'm just going to go even more. And that's what's so great about acrylics and layering is just go a little bit at a time. And when I put it on thick like this, the second layer was a little thick. Let me grab it. Is it freezing, you guys? I haven't seen it freeze yet. Again, but when you put it on thick, so you can put it on really light, or you can say, you know what, I don't really like that shape. So then I love scraping, making marks. And Heidi's on, so I'm going to say it, but I love my skewer. It's a little inside joke. So when you use this skewer, you can also get what's underneath to pop out. And for me, going a little closer. So for me, you can see some of this texture. But one thing it does is it sort of softens the area next to it. So it's not that just this like, you know, teal blue and you're done. Linda, I have not used stamps, but I do know there's some artists in the group that do. I'm always curious about them too. I'd love to see some work with some stamps. My mom might have. And so, hold on. I missed it. Heidi, did you miss me saying skewer? Oh, you might have just missed me saying it. How's that one? Okay. So I've added a little bit more of this blue. And I think that looks really pretty. And you know the thing is, you guys, in the olden days, professors would say that you can't use paint straight out of the jar. Well, that's total wuss and bull. You can use anything. You can do anything you want. There are no rules. There are no rules to painting. I'm just going to put us up a little bit. No, I'm not. I'm not working out. There we go. Maybe I should say, yeah, I am, and it counts. So I'm going to go around here with this blue again, this blue-green, and just really try to get rid of that olive. My olive. And I often will, especially if I have a very short time to paint, I sometimes love to just go in and grab a brush. Sometimes I don't even have water. I literally just grab a brush and dip right in to here. And if I have like 10 minutes, and then I'll take the brush in the house, wash it, and just feel like, okay, I got something accomplished. You know, sometimes we don't have all the time in the world. So I want to do some of my, I haven't been doing sides on these as much as I'd like because I was doing more filming, but throw some paint down there. This color combination is one of my favorites right now. I'm just digging the purple, the turquoise, all that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna fix this little area here, and I am gonna probably bring in a little bit of weight. So I'm using the white titanium. White titanium is one of my favorites, just supply to have. So I'm gonna go in and make this shape solid. So just look at like what is bugging you and just go one at a time and try to make whatever you don't like better, okay? And then either just keep on going with whatever paint you have in your hand. And that's how I kind of do my paintings, my little sessions that I do. I just do it like that. So this is a little harder area to fix. So I'm gonna grab a smaller brush. Where are my smaller brushes? Oh, they're right here, all clean and ready for me. And I probably would, I don't want that brush. I probably would actually keep these purple, so I'm just going to ignore that and see what I can do to soften the olive. You guys see the stencil work here too is so beautiful. It really builds some texture to your piece, depending on how thick you put your stencil down. I'm just gonna make this a little bit darker. The angle brushes are so great too because you can draw like straight lines with them, paint straight lines with them by just holding it differently. All right, let's see what happens. Not much underneath there. You can use your finger to kind of spread that around. Anybody else have bad allergies? Mine are going crazy right now. Crazy. Okay. So already I'm kind of liking this better. Which Nova purple is that? It is the Dioxazine Violet. I don't think I have it right in front of me, but it's that Dioxazine one, which I'm probably not saying the name correct. But it's this dark. It is, you guys, one of my favorite colors. Let's see, do I have it like right in front of me? Can I find it? It's one of my favorite colors because it starts off this dark. See how dark that is? It's almost like black. And once you start adding the white to this color, this is the color it turns into. Is that amazing? Seriously, it's like one of my favorite. I think there's so many of my favorites. And for those who are new to our group and don't know how amazing these are, I paint with them. I like them. The whole Bird of Humanity is done with this, but for those of my friends who are across the pond on the other side of the pond too, in Australia, you can get the Liquitex. What is it? I can't remember it off the top of my head. There's a Liquitex that has a very similar consistency. And if you don't have that, what I recommend you do when you have any paint that you think is too thick, instead of using okay, I'm going to do a little bit of paint pen work and then I'm going to answer some of the questions. So there are 4 of these soft body. Yes, Julie, I think that's what it is. It's just a different, they're just not very heavy, which I love. Okay, so I did some paint pen work yesterday also. And if anybody wants to hop on over to Instagram, where you can find any replays on Instagram, just so you know, so it's different than Facebook, but any replays are just in my regular feed. So yesterday's Instagram live, which is 30 minutes, you can find right in the feed. Like you'll see, you just put me in and then you see the first little square and it's a video, you just click on it. So Molly, I don't know what my kids are doing. No, I do know. One is sleeping and one's not here. So I don't know what the answer is on that. I'm so sorry. I'm not getting any notices it's freezing like I did in the beginning. So I apologize. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of this paint pen work. And I have, you guys know how much I love Poscas. But when I feel like I'm at a point where I'm done with the paints, then I will do this. I'm not done with my paints yet, but I just want to show you, you have to be completely dry. And that's super important. But I love working a little tone on tone. That's why I love the Posca. I feel like they go so well with the Nova colors. But, you can mix your own colors to be anything you want. But I like how the colors are like my color palette. So it really works for me. I'm just doing some shapes. The paint pens are great because they come in different thicknesses. This is the 5. And find color combinations you like. You can also just wipe it right off right away. If you're like, oh gosh, that's not what I wanted. You can pretty much take a baby wipe and wipe it right off. And if you can't wipe it right off, if you were a little bit late on the game, then what you do is you just paint over it. Just paint over it. So it's just, they're fun. They're acrylic paint. You have to really be careful about smearing it. I do that all the time. In fact, I did it in that Bird of Humanity class and I laughed so hard. Okay, what was the other thing I was going to tell you about this? Okay, Donna in our group asked me this morning, she sent me a message, and I did a little research. And the research was, she wanted to know what the difference was between oil-based and water-based paint pens. And the oil-based and water-based are different. Sharpie makes oil-based. I don't believe Posca makes oil-based. I was always told that oil-based was toxic, but I couldn't really find anything on that. I'm going to share a link today on the difference between the two. In case for some reason you have oil-based at home, you can use that too. They're just different. One lasts differently, and they write differently. I believe the water-based are also more opaque from the quick reading I did this morning. And some comment flew by real quick about the stencils. If you've taken my free abstract class, which is on my site under courses, there's a free abstract class. I use these a lot, you guys. These are from Stencil Girl. And I think I've linked them a few times, but they're Stencil Girl. And I just love using stencils in my art. I use them a little bit at a time, but in that class, you'll see me using them. And I think I might even link to the stencils. So I'm still haven't found like the orange of my dream, but it's not bad. This is just a regular orange. I want like a even brighter orange, I guess. So I'm kind of on the hunt for that. And you can go overboard. You can kind of not think, you can kind of just like forget about life and just make lots of marks, which is awesome. But I do try to also, when I'm doing this type of work, to just take breaks so that you can come back and look and come back. So when I look at this painting, this thing, I don't know what this is, but that bugs me too. So I'll probably paint maybe that right over or something about it. I don't know what it is. Let's just do it right now. So I was just saying how I want to get rid of things that I don't like. So, and then I might just let this dry and layer over it with something else. Okay. All right. So that's just a quick little demo. Now those two, oh, something, hold on. The comment went by so fast. Let me see if I can find it again. The two pink lines that you did on the top, do you go ahead and continue that line on the sides of the canvas? Yes, 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 yes. Good question. I would. Okay. So because I'm just doing this kind of quickly, but yes, I would go like this. I would absolutely, all my sides get as much detail, but I haven't been doing them because I've been shooting down, but yes, 100%. And I do the same thing with my marks. I like to bring things over to the sides. I think sides are so important when you are doing that. So, oh, Linda. Well, maybe we'll come back. Okay, so what I wanted to do is, there are two questions that I had, and you guys always send me questions. If you want me to chat about it right here, I'd be happy to. And it was for Cheryl, I believe, because I probably was talking nonsense last week, and I wanted to show you the differences. And I also have a link that I'm going to put in this post, the differences between varnishes, fixatives, what you need and why. Okay, so I'll give you real quick answers. I'm not, again, the most technical person, but when you are working with pastels oil pastels, soft pastels, charcoal, things that can smear, things that if you put water to it, it would smear. So you want to use a fixative. I don't use fixatives a lot. Part of me, I think, because I'm such a messy artist, that I actually just go with it. And if it smears, I just let it smear. However, you may not want to do that when you're working with charcoal, especially, and when you're working with soft pastels. And there's so many different mediums that need fixatives. So this is called a workable fixative, and it's really what it says. It fixes your piece that you're on. And so that way it shouldn't smear. Of course, if you took like a big sponge, it would smear, but it really helps so that when you're working and you're drawing, right, and you don't want this part of your hand to be smearing it, once you put a fixative down, it should set it for you to be able to continue layering and working that way. Renee uses fixatives a lot because she does a lot of charcoal and she does a lot of pastel. So workable fixative is something great. Prevents smudging, allows easy rework, acid-free. These come in lots of different brands and they're out there, and that's if you guys want those, okay? So I grabbed this. I'm not going to spray it because you want to spray this stuff outside. This is smeared. You can see how it's all neos, but neos and wax, but you can see how it's smeared across. If this was a piece of art that you really wanted to like frame or give to somebody or whatever, then you would want to be spraying as you were working on different layers. All right. Now, the other thing that I found out today when I was doing a little research for our group is there's a link I'm going to send you guys that is from my friend Betty Krause. And Betty Krause, I love, okay? And she has this video on YouTube that I'm going to link. And she talks about how she uses varnish spray and varnish paint, okay? Varnish with a brush. So I don't use varnish on my pieces. I have it, maybe I should start, but I don't use this on my pieces, but some people do. And you can use this on your canvases, you can use it on your paper, and you're gonna wanna use it with a brush, and you brush on your varnish. And this is when you're completely finished with your work and you wanna sell it or you wanna have it be archival. You use either a brushed on varnish or a spray varnish, okay? So the difference is, when you're using, and Betty really likes to use this type of a varnish because it makes her art pop a little bit and just does this beautiful, nice gloss finish to it on her paper. So I have a matte, but you can get satin, gloss, matte, and it all depends on how you want your piece to look. So what she does is she sprays with a fixative all of her work that's on paper. And I'm sure you could do the same thing on a canvas. Betty works on a lot of paper pieces and she uses a lot of Neo 2s, which I also do. So, you guys who are in my classes and on my lives, you know that I love Neo Color 2s. So when you're done with your work, she uses a fixative, she sprays her piece, she lets it dry, and then she brushes on her varnish. Okay, that's a big difference. If you didn't use a fixative, and you had Neo Color 2s or other wax crayons, this is going to smear it all up, okay? So hopefully that helps. Now, if you don't have any, Neos, like this is a perfect example. I don't have any Neos in these little canvases I'm working on right now. I have acrylic paints and I have acrylic paint pens. So I could, if I wanted to, varnish it with a brush. The reason that I don't do that a lot is because I don't like to see the brush strokes, which you're not always going to see the brush strokes. I'm just so sloppy. But I mean, you could take your varnish and maybe even use a sponge brush. And you could even make she uses synthetic brushes and they're soft. I have a piece of Betty's art and I don't see brush strokes, but I think that for me, I'm just sloppy. So when I'm working on canvases, and I don't have Neos, I'll just use a matte varnish, and I don't have to do a fixative, okay? I just go right onto a varnish and I'll spray it outside. And also, a lot of times, you guys, I don't even spray anything. Everybody's different. So the difference is just fixative fixes it in between your layers, and you can use a fixative as many times as your layers, how you have. It's totally up to you. And varnish is in 2 different ways, okay? And I would experiment. And you know, matte medium's probably a good varnish too, to be honest. You could probably use that. Yes, and Linda is saying that you put it on with a sponge brush or a roller. Absolutely. It looks like gives the riches up. Yes, and it makes things pop. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and talk about, watercolor. Oh, no, no, I have to get back to you on the watercolors. I'm blanking for one quick second. Let me just flip us around. Okay. Hello. Okay. What do I do on watercolors? I think, okay, I got a couple thoughts on watercolors. One, I had one of my favorite pieces completely fade in years, like fade completely. There's a few reasons, and people might chime in on this thread about this. Okay, one, it depends on your paint. So there's a lot of paint out there, watercolor paint, that is going to fade, and some are not going to fade. So that's one thing. I know, I think Kathy has an answer on that. She kind of made me think about that because I was using something that faded. The other is, yes, you can use a spray. Let's see. This fixative actually says you can spray on watercolor. But I have a thought on the watercolor. I just want to tell you. No, I don't see anything on that. Renee would also know. Let's see. Don't know on that one, but here's what I would tell you. If you have a piece of watercolor that you're absolutely crazy about, love, then I would highly recommend that you put it under a UV glass, like UV coated plastic or glass, so that the sun does not fade. Some of the fixatives will change your color, and so that's the thing, is like, I just don't know. Okay, so hopefully somebody else do the research on that and let us all know, okay? Because I'm not the spray queen, but yes, you can use fixatives on watercolor. Okay, so here's the thing about pricing, all right? So I wrote some notes, and I'm also going to, it's going to be like a total education day, because there's another link I found this morning about pricing your art that I want to, and I'll put all of these in the top of our post, okay? So the thing about pricing your art is there are so many different ways to price it. And first tip I would tell you is do some research in your field, and also do some research in your area. So for instance, look at what local artists are selling their art. Go to art studios, like open studios if there are. Go to art fairs or festivals in the summer if they have them, and kind of get an idea of what other people are pricing their work at. That's what I did when I first started. I went to art shows and art fairs, and I really took down in my head and some notes, like, what's everybody pricing their this size, that size, their acrylic. So I wasn't like coming up with some crazy price all on my own. So that's one, do a little research. Two, depending on your medium, they're going to sell different. Watercolors tend to sell a little bit less than maybe acrylics and oils, but it all also depends on the artist, how long they've been doing it. There's like so many different variables, but I would say the first thing is to just do a little research and see what's like in your area, or somebody that you feel like you're kind of on the same par with. That helps too. All right, so before I tell you my formula for pricing, keep in mind, if you are selling your art at a gallery or on consignment, they're going to take a percentage. So imagine 50% for now. Let's just pretend they're 50%. So if I was selling this for let's say $200, which is probably I probably wouldn't sell it for $200. It's a little high, but let's say this was $200, just for the math. And I was selling it at an art gallery, and I wouldn't sell it and have them price it at $400, because then if you have a customer who loves your art and wants to come find you, then they're gonna go, oh, she's selling it for $400 at this art gallery, but I can get it online for $200 on her site or at her house or in her art show. So that's the one thing that's super important, is that wherever you sell it, the final cost needs to be the same, okay? So that's really important. And then you just have to factor in, do you want to work with that art gallery or do you want to work with that consignment, because you're going to be taking a cut of your profits, okay? But remember, they're doing the work, they're selling it. So that's a whole nother thing. So what I do to try and get a fair price is that I use the square inch formula, and I'm going to link it. You can see it in the comments when we're done here. And basically you take your size of your piece, so this is an 8 by 10, and you times it, so that's 80. And then you times it by a certain dollar amount. So that dollar amount could be anything you want it to be. It could be $1, $2, $3, $4. But what happens is, when you use a square inch formula, then no matter what size that you have, you do the same formula. So that way, if somebody wants to buy your art, you're not thinking, oh my God, I have no idea what to sell it for. You know what to sell it for. You take the square inch and you times it by a set dollar amount. So hopefully that makes sense. So for example, 8 by 10, let's say my dollar amount on all my square inches was $3. Then this would be 240 bucks. A 16 by 20, which is like this size. That might be a 20 by 24. I can't remember. Anyway, that would be $9.60. So that's just made up dollar amount. It could be $3.50. So kind of use a formula. And the reason why I like to use a formula is because I often have lots of different sizes, and I really want to make it easy for me. I mean, that's the most important thing, is that you want to make it a fair price. Always, always, always remember that you never want to go too high and then go lower, and you also don't want to go too low. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing, but if you're anybody out here who's listening, who's just getting started and wants to sell a couple things, and I talked about it last week, just do a little research, just change it. I change my prices almost every year anyway. You'll get into a groove and you'll figure it out, and you'll know if it's way too cheap because all your stuff's gone in a minute and you're like, wow, I could be selling it for more. The other thing I wanted to say about that too is, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah. Remember the cost of your materials. So when you have your square inch formula and your piece is going to be, this is only the made up piece, is $240. You want to add in the cost of your canvas and the cost of your paint, let's say. What I don't do, and some people do it, is it doesn't matter how long it takes to make a painting. I can spend, seriously, like I can spend 3 months on a painting, or I could spend 3 days on a painting. That shouldn't determine the price of your art. For me personally, I think it gets really confusing. I think art is very subjective of how much time you put into it. Tracy Verdugo taught me this, and she probably was taught this herself by some older teachers back in the day. Here's what she told me, and it's so, so, so true. Your value is not by how fast or how long you painted your painting, okay? It's like all the years, it's all the classes, it's all the education, it's all the learning, it's all of it, all mixed in. So your value is much more than how long it takes to make something. Does that sound good? Whew, gosh, hopefully I did not cut out for all of that, because then it'll be like chop, 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 chop. So, let's see, what time is it? Oh my gosh, you guys, it's an hour. My husband's always like, how do you talk so long? Seriously, that was an hour. And I really try to put a lot into our lives. I really love our group. Thank you for all of you who are new and are joining. And I saw like flashes yesterday of awesome posts. So I'm going to go in this weekend and check out the posts because I had all these basketball games, but I know that there's a lot you guys are sharing. So I encourage you to share. It's beautiful art. I love it. I love seeing it. And, oh, you know what I was going to tell you guys too? I'm starting this thing. I'm going to see how it goes. I will keep you guys up to date. I'm going to try. I tried this last year and it lasted like 1 minute. I am going to try really hard for Sundays to be a no device day. Okay. So back in the olden days, we didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have we had a landline, but we didn't have a device. And I feel, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I am always on my phone, just scrolling and I always think to myself, well, say if somebody's trying to get a hold of me, but you know what? So if they need to get a hold of me, they can call my husband or they can call my kids. So I decided that tomorrow, all right, Sunday, is going to be rest day, garden, read, art. Whatever I want to do, cook, whatever I want to do, I'm going to try and say no devices. I'm going to literally power it down. And the thing about my phone is, you guys, I love taking photos, so I'm not going to. They're going to have to go up in here in my brain. And I'm going to let you guys know how it is because I think it's good to give ourselves breaks from the devices. And that doesn't mean I can't watch the 49ers game. I'm going to be watching that with my family, but I am going to not be on my phone or my computer. And there was something else I was going to tell you about that. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even know. I can't even remember. But I think it's good for our brains and it's good for our souls and it's good to re-energize yourself for the Monday. So if anybody wants to do it with me, I'm starting tomorrow. I'm going to do it all of February and I'm going to let you know how it goes. I did try it last year and I had some excuse why I needed to jump on there. So yay! Oh, Vicki, good. You know what? So now someone wants a commission and I feel so uncomfortable. Oh, you guys, Vicki, this is to you, but who anybody else wants to hear this? It's really uncomfortable and it's sticky. And I'm always wanting to just give it away. I would rather give it away. And it has taken me years and mentors to tell me over and over again about how not to do that. And I'm only trying to encourage you guys not to do that. Anybody trying to get into the business to not do that. I think as women, as whether you're a mom or you're not a mom, your sister or aunt, whatever, I think we're so wanting to give all the time, right? We give our time as it is, but I think we also want to just give away what we've created because it just you feel better. Don't you feel better giving it to somebody than saying, yeah, that's $240. But here's the thing. People want to spend the money. They believe in you. They see the value in you and they want it. And if you give it away, then it's not going to be valuable to them. Okay, they want to invest in you and they want to have a piece of you. So remember that. So Vicki, when you are selling your commission piece, when you're creating a commission piece, try your very best. It's hard, super hard. Try your very best to just keep saying to yourself over and over in your head, I'm worth it. This is my this is my value. And put yourself, this is what I do a lot, you guys, is put yourself in the other shoe. Right? So the person that you want to sell your commission to, your piece to, let's say her name is Lucy. All right. So Lucy wants to get something from Vicki. Well, Lucy probably doesn't want it for free. That's probably going to make her feel uncomfortable. She wants to get a piece of Vicki and she wants to pay for a piece of Vicki because it's valuable. All right, so hopefully that helped you, but it's not easy. I'm not telling you it's easy. It's taken me a long time, all right? It's a long, long time, but every single step of the way that you put yourself out there, whether you're selling it or not selling it, whatever you're doing, just remember that you have a world and a wealth of knowledge that is making you valuable, okay? All right. Ta-da! I am now officially 11:05. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Go 49ers. Bye-bye.